Hey, we know we need to be exercising. We know we need to be doing strength training and holding on to lean muscle mass. But the truth is, we need to train, not strain, because any downtime means we're not able to exercise. Not able to exercise, we're losing muscle mass. We can't afford to do that. But here's the thing. We might be doing exercises and not be doing them correctly. We can get away with it for a little while, but you and I know we don't want downtime. We don't want to not be able to choose exercise when we're trying to. So use the cues here to help you tweak and perfect some of the exercises you're already doing. Or if you've been in a stare down with an exercise you've seen somebody else do, whether it's at the gym in a machine or something else, this may help you get the confidence that you need to do this correctly, where your hands go, where the handles go, so you set the seat appropriately. Let's go. This first exercise is dumbbells in a bent over row. The important things to keep in mind here is that you have a slight arch in your back. That lower back should be arched, not rounded. Your weight is in your heels, so you're really pressing back through the glutes and squeezing the shoulder blades together as you come up. This one's easy to do at home with dumbbells. Now, you can also change that. I'm doing a single, in this case a kettlebell, a little bit heavier, and that's why I'm bracing myself. Do one arm and the other, and gives you an indication of how you're doing with your balance from left to right. There's a little bit of power in this motion, and that's not a bad thing. This is, say you're at a gym, or lucky enough to have this at home, but few of us do. You're doing a seated row, but I want you to pay attention to a few things that no one gives you the details unless you get this from a trainer. You want to make sure those handles are just below your shoulders when you set up. You want to make sure that your chest is against that pad in front, but you're not leaning on it. You have some weight on your feet, and there you're engaging your core. Shoulder blades stay back. Notice my palms are up, or I'm going to choose facing in and not down. This is a lat pull down. Also love this one. Hate to see this pulled behind the neck. We already have enough issues with our cervical spine and rounding forward, so it is always just below your chin to your collarbone. You just want to be pulling, not at all pushing down below that point. Notice I'm leaning back. That's on purpose. So I'm engaging my core, pulling it toward me. About shoulder width apart on that grip. This is a renegade row. Now a little more complicated because there's more muscle groups involved. You're also not going to lift as heavy. This is a great exercise for recovery day, say between two heavier workouts, and when you're really wanting to do some functional work. We do more things during the day, holding something in one arm, moving the other. So you're getting some core work and everything else functions here. Another example of opposing muscle group, switching here to the chest. So this is a hoist machine. Notice there's a little rocking effect as I push forward. But pieces that are important here, again, no one tells you, is those handles should be about chest height. If they're at your shoulders, you're going to be doing more shoulder strain than actually chest muscle training. So sit down, adjust the seat accordingly. Another example of a chest press, this machine is a hammer strength. I love this because it allows you to do it independently, almost as if you're using dumbbells. But in this case, you can sit up, you can go heavier like dumbbells, but move arms independently without having the risk of, hey, this weight is over my nose. So make sure feet are down on the floor, you're sitting upright, and again, notice where those handles hit, right at the chest. You don't want them higher, so that is all about seat adjustment before you even start lifting. Here's a chest press, flat on a bench. You can also use an inclined bench. I'll show that in a minute. But notice my arms and elbows. So the elbows come out at about shoulder height. I don't go below that, even though I could, but that will open up the shoulder and put stress on it. We stop parallel to the back, and I'm doing this at a 45-degree angle, not 90. This is the same move, or essentially one variation of it, on an incline. So the muscles you have in your body are 360. So we're going to get some more of the upper fibers of the chest, the pectoralis major, involved in this upright or incline bench. So setting wise, if you're looking, I have this at about a 2 or a 3. You don't want to come too far upright. That puts stress on the shoulder. And this is just a nice variation from a flat bench or on the floor. And that's what I'll do if I'm at home. This is another variation, so here is me at home. But notice what I'm doing. This is not necessarily a decline bench exercise. What I'm doing, however, is involving my lower body. So it's kind of putting my lower body in a plank, using my glutes and my legs. They're not just on vacation here while I'm doing this chest press. Now you see my arm that's not moving. I'm getting a little unilateral work. The core is more involved, but that arm that's not moving, by the way, is not on the floor. So it's not resting. I'm hovering it. And there's a little bit more fatigue that comes in with that holding pattern. But think about that. You hold a child stable in your arm. You hold the dry cleaning or groceries in your arm. It's very functional to have something in both hands, but only be moving one. So now let's go to some smaller muscle groups. Biceps. You work the biceps when you're doing back exercises that we began with, but you also sometimes may have time and want to put these in at the end of the workout. In this case, I'm standing. I could easily sit down, slight bend of my knees. My weight is on my heel primarily, and I am making sure I'm holding my core still, not rocking or using momentum. Let's try this. I'm going to show you several different tricep exercises. So that is for that muscle in the back of the arm. This is called a kickback. Now, again, if you struggle with lower back issues, don't quite have a strong core, sit down to do this. It'll make it far easier. Elbows are in narrow. Try not to let them drift out to the side. These are light dumbbells because this is actually a hard one, and you have to have mobility or range of motion at your shoulder as well as the elbow. Now we're going to a long lever. If you imagine the muscles in the back of the arm, they cross the elbow and the shoulder. So kickback started this long lever here, and what we'll do at the end is doing 8 or 10 of each of these. Now I would go and complete this move by putting them together. And that will bring fatigue, even though I begin with a really light weight. By the end, I will be happy I have a really light weight. So lifting straight, do the kickback, and then straight to come down. That's 1 rep. Lift, flex, and extend, and then lower down. All the while maintaining that slight arch of my back, my weight on my heels, my knees are bent, or again, sit down to hold on to this one. Notice my head, I'm trying to keep in alignment with my spine. Not looking way down, not looking way up, but very neutral. We're going to end with shoulder exercises, and I'll show you 3. This is a front raise, but notice I'm adding a little twist here. So very functional again. You're going to lift with both. You're going to lower and lift one while the other one holds stable, and do the same with the second. And the key here is making sure you're not rocking backward, you're not arching. Could you do this one seated? You could. A little bit more challenging. You want to make sure your legs are not in the way so you have full range of motion. Going a little bit wider so my stance is going to help me stay stable. I'm going to go in a lateral raise. So this is not directly to my side. It's slightly forward of my shoulders. My elbows are slightly bent. Notice I bring the weights up to about shoulder height, but not further. Now, you wanted to see this. I want you to see that I'm not arching the back. There's no swinging here, and I'm staying very stable. And then last but not least, this is a reverse fly. 3 deltoid or shoulder muscles. We're now working the rear deltoid. Now again, this is tricky. A lot going on. Weight should be in the heels, slight bend of the knees, arch to the back. And then I bring this up without swinging. If I can't own it at the top, I would tell myself or any client it's too heavy and you're going to overdo something in the shoulder. Hope that was helpful. To subscribe, you can hit the bell at the top to know when I've released a new video.